Hello everyone, part 2, as requested from my son because he said the other video was too long or too many breaks. So let's get this started. Where do I start? Basically, I'm going to start with how I found out I had cancer. I was constantly working and at my job, at one of my previous jobs, and I noticed I wasn't moving as quick. I was sluggish. I wasn't I didn't have the full energy. So I thought maybe it's because everybody kept saying, oh, it's because you're overweight, it's because you're overweight. And what's that? So I decided to go ahead, diet, exercise, do everything, but I still wasn't. Over a month I was on a diet, exercising and so forth, and I was losing inches, I was losing weight, but still didn't have the amount of energy that I used to have. I was still running sluggish. I was getting all my sleep and everything. Well, after I left that company, I went to another company, and I noticed my back was always hurting me. It was constantly hurting and hurting. I couldn't stand up very long. And then that was a company that was a contractor, contracted work. So they would bill out a contract, and I would go out and perform the work that needed to be acquired. So when I wasn't working, I was at home. And back in, like I said, in April, February or March, I was off, and I was just laying around, taking a break, feeling sluggish, tired. My back was hurting me, so I decided to lay on the couch. Well, before all that happened, I kept, what I thought was and what the doctors thought was a UTI. So I went in for all that, and they kept thinking it was just a UTI. I took all kinds of medication, and they did one procedure after another, and they couldn't figure out what it was. So when I went to sleep on the couch and woke up and I couldn't move, my back, I was in so much pain. I had to crawl to my bedroom and try and lay down on the bed there to see if maybe it would go away. But I couldn't move at all. My wife had to come home, and they had to take me to the hospital, to the emergency room, and they did x-rays, and they did blood work and so forth. And that's when the doctor in the emergency room found out that I had something in my test that showed that I had cancer. Before he even said it, before he even came back with the test, I turned to my wife and I said, I have cancer. And she would say, no, you don't. And sure enough, the doctor came in and told me that they had found something. And that's when I found out that I had cancer. So that's what started the whole process of me going to everything, to all the procedures and so forth, and the chemo, and spending a month in the hospital. And for those who unfortunately have to go through this process of dealing, going to the hospital for cancer and getting the treatment done, the medication and the chemo, they told me that everything that is going to affect me hard. And they warned me. They said a lot of people, this one of the side effects is explosive diarrhea. And so with that being said, the time period before they did all the medication, what I did was, I guess you could say, I prepped myself. I would order foods with a lot of carbs, with a lot of breads, with a lot of rice and mashed potatoes, anything heavy that will soak up anything. Knowing that in any other situation I would get constipated, or basically if anybody eats that kind of mess, that constant hard thick stuff, you would be constipated. So I prepared myself, and during the process I never did have any exploding diarrhea while I was there. However, I did wind up having a 104 temperature that they could not bring down. They had to put me in ICU to prevent anything happening for me going. And that was after the effects of the chemo after it was given to me. It was for 3 days. I had a extremely high fever, and they had to soak me down with ice, basically, constantly giving me ice baths, changing out ice bags in bags to bring the temperature down. The process is struggling. They did bone marrow biopsy on me twice before the procedures had taken place, which is a big long thing. First they in my hip, right below my I guess my belt line, right in that general area. They took a long needle and they stick it all the way to the bone, and then just keep poking and giving you Novocaine, I guess, numbing, to numb the whole area, and you could feel it. It just literally stab, 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 and then they take another needle and to, I guess it's a drill or something, and they wiggle it all the way into the bone so that way they can get to the marrow, and they can test it and not so much test it, but also pull out the marrow, so that way they can later return it. It hurts, even though it was numbing. You can still feel it just hitting there, and you can literally feel the pain in there. It was just like, and then for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you can still feel in that general area in your hip that they were stabbing you, and to this day I still feel it. And then I just, since I've been having nothing but back problems again, my oncologist suggests to my MD Anderson doctor that I get another bone marrow biopsy for them to check to see if anything has risen in, because my plasma is out of whack. It has risen, and so things are now going, they were going great at a level, keeping me where I am, to now they're starting to drop again. But in the beginning, the doctors told me, both of my doctors both told me that everything that's going to happen to me is going to be a constant roller coaster. It's going to go up, it's going to look great, my good numbers are going to go up, and all my bad numbers are going to go down, and then I'm going to get the opposite, and all my bad numbers are going to go up and my good numbers are going to go down. And that's right now kind of where I am. So that being said, that's pretty much how I found out and how things happen. So the scary part with me is, which I said before, that I want to put all this out there so that way those who have questions can question and try their hardest to stay strong and be positive, and also so that way my son and the rest of my family will say, hey, there's Mike. And also my son is my only biological son, who edited the last video, and he's gonna probably edit this one. His mother, biological mother, passed away after giving birth. So that fear in me of him having to go through life, the rest of his life, if I pass away, without having two biological parents. But I am happy and okay, I guess, in a sense, that his stepmother is loving and caring for him to the point where she wants to spoil him all the time, and of course I don't. I want to teach him everything I possibly can so he can grow up to be better than me, better than anybody, basically, and he has all the knowledge that he needs to have to continue and go forward without anybody teaching him. Because if I'm not there to teach him, then there really isn't going to be anybody to teach him. I want to be and do as much as I can, teaching him things around the house, things, and that's what these videos are hopefully are for. And I know that eventually he's gonna see my videos and think that they're not all there, but at least they're going to be there for him. And he may eventually go to Google or YouTube and look up whatever he needs to get a better idea of what he needs. But I'm teaching him as much as I can, the fundamentals of being male, first of all, being a good person, second, believing in God, following God's word, and by, like my grandmother taught me when I was younger, to never question God. I've been through a lot in my life, and I'm going through stuff now that I still don't question God. I understand that He has a reason for everything. Whether someone is taken out of your life, there is a reason for it. Whether, you just lost your job, there's a reason for it. God has a plan for everything. And it's not meant for God to give you everything. You have to earn it, and like I tell my son all the time, I'm not exactly sure where in the Bible it says, but it says that you have to teach your children, or you hold the bearer of their mistakes, and you will be punished by it. Well, I don't want to be punished by his mistakes. I want to move on and make life easier for me, and when I do pass away, I of course I want to go to heaven. So I have many friends and family members that I believe are in heaven, and that's where I want to go. With that being said, I have so, like I was saying, I want to make this kind of I want to make all this kind of short and sweet, so that way he doesn't have that much to edit and the video isn't too long. But in other things, though, for all those that are out there that or on other vlogs and I make a comment, I'm just joking with you. I'm not. I'm trying to have fun. I'm trying to live life happy. So I mean, if I offend you, I apologize. I am nowhere trying to offend anybody. I just want to have fun, and to me, you have one life, and it's to live happy, and to spread love, and to me, the best medicine is laughter. And my family, they all know I joke around a lot. I'm constantly messing around with people, scaring people, pranking people. It's just who I am. And like I said, if I offend anybody, I apologize. By all means, I do really apologize. See my shirt. I gotta support the beaver. Right, Kendra? Gotta, Kendra. And a while back, speaking of the beaver, this is Bucky, by the way. Adam the Moo, if you go way back, I wouldn't say way back, he went to Bucky's in Katy and met my daughter, and that's the little short lady, the little short girl, while he was like way up here. You can't even see in the camera because he was tall and he had to squat down to her level. That was my daughter, my youngest daughter. And let's see who else. I wanted to say also Tampa J out there, much ahead, and Misfits and Dreamers, Yankees in the South, and I'm also going to put my cousin in the description below. Really need to go check him out. I've mentioned it before in NTL Vlogs. He's a great artist. He's done a lot of work. Also does. He sells a lot of his work as well. So you could probably contact him. Maybe send a picture of your family, a painting or portrait or picture, and he can do a painting for you. So one last thing before I go, I did mention, I said on this video I probably would do it, so I have it here now. I paid at an antique store $3.50 for this, but the previous owner, I guess, was left-handed because it's set up for left-hand, because I believe this piece here is supposed to be up here, so you can have your hand here and pick it. I don't know how to play. Sorry, and I've looked it up. The value for that, I believe, is over $600. So, and I asked to see how much it would cost to get everything set up for a right-handed person, so that way I can learn how to play, and it's over $150 to do so. From what I was told at the store, but I don't know if that's truthful or not, so I'm still going to do research on it eventually whenever I get around to having some kind of extra spending cash. I was able to purchase that because the extra spending cash was from a little adventure I took to the casino, and I won about the same price, a little bit more, and that's why I was able to purchase that. If not, then I wouldn't have been able to. It was just something that I've always wanted to have, so that's why I was lucky enough to buy it. If I didn't have the money, I definitely wouldn't have bought it. With that being said, I am finally going to go ahead and call this an end. So So thank you for watching. Like I said before, spread love, not hate. Keep moving forward, and be positive. Those who are out there, always try and be as positive as you possibly can. Love you. Thanks.